Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rom-Com Love podcast. We are so excited and thrilled to have Shae Robbins join us today. Hello, Shae. Welcome.
Hi, Catherine. Hi, Brennan. Thank you so much for having me. I am pumped to be here today.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. We're so excited to chat with you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Of course. So, your newest movie, Blessings in Disguise, recently premiered on Great American Family. And I like I said off camera, recently just watched this movie. It was fantastic. So, would
Thank
you
you.
just start off by just sharing what drew you to this role?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was initially approached about this film and they sent over the script, immediately I was in a way taken back by how many parallels I could draw from my own life and these characters in the film to my own. Um, and in a way, I've kind of been sharing this, but this film has become a little bit of a blessing in disguise for me and a good reminder in so many ways. And we can touch on that a little bit more later. But so when I read the character Katie, a lot of similarities there in the fact that she felt like she needed to be in New York to be successful, that her worth was defined by her career, that if she failed, it meant like she was a failure. Then her relationship with her mother and my own relationship with my mother and the way my mother is and how my mom is always looking outward and trying to help and serve and be there for others and sometimes tries to keep busy to distract from maybe some inner turmoil she might be going through. And then Katie's relationship with her grandmother, and that her grandmother is this incredible seamstress and was always doing and creating things for others, and that was my grandmother. Growing up, I grew up watching my own grandma make the most beautiful creations, just had a line out the door practically of people needing alterations. My grandma made, would put sleeves on prom dresses, homecoming dresses to make them more modest for me. She made costumes for different school productions that I was in. And so growing up watching her, and so there's just so many things to draw from and different parallels from my own life. So it was great going into this film and playing Katie. And there were even a couple moments and scenes that we were shooting where I was like, whoo, this is hitting a little too close to home today, you know? But that's what initially kind of drew me in, was just how many things I felt like I truly related to. It was special.
Mm, absolutely. And did you have any idea about what was being written or the script, or did you get it and it just kind of happened to be this coincidence?
Exactly. It just happened to be a coincidence, a blessing. And yeah, I just thought the script, I read through it the first time and I was like, oh, wait, this is so beautiful, and how everything kind of ties together at the end. And I don't want to give away the ending, and we can chat more about that later. But yeah, it was just a special blessing in disguise for myself.
Absolutely. I call that a God thing.
Oh, yep. Oh, I love that.
Well, I was going to say, I definitely knew that it hit you, or I guess it doesn't surprise me that it hit you so much different because I saw your little promo that you did for the app. And
Oh, yeah.
literally as you're talking about Katie's journey, you started tearing up at the end of that
Mm.
about that, and it was about how your worth is, not what you think it is, and your worth is in God. And I was just like, you don't see, like when you, I was like, she wasn't so in touch with the character just from that. That's if I didn't know anything else about this, and I am one who hasn't had the chance to see it yet. That just alone, your little segment right there would have drew me in because
Oh,
we all need the GodWinks, and both of us
yeah.
are believers. And I am always the one to say, well, that spoke to me way different than I thought it was going to when you're watching, because you think you're going into a rom-com. I mean, this one was designed a little bit differently with the fact,
Yeah.
especially that they're doing their GAF is doing the new, what is it exactly called for the threads?
Golden thread, a golden thread. So it's a new genre of storytelling because we will see moments of faith in other films on the network, but this genre is designed to see those moments of faith woven in through everyday life versus just one pivotal moment of the movie where the character is just in need of help and guidance, and then she turns or he turns to God, and then that's that moment of faith. So now we're seeing it kind of woven all throughout the entire story, the entire film. And so yeah, Blessings in Disguise was the premiere movie for this new genre, the golden thread.
My gosh, what an honor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And that's so true about this movie. Not to give too much away, but I definitely saw that thread throughout the whole movie, just kind of truth after truth. And it wasn't just, like you said, one scene or one situation. It was
Yeah.
all throughout. So, so appreciated.
Oh, yeah. I'm just so in awe of the network and this path that they are paving and the good that they are doing by introducing such a genre. You know, I think
Mhm.
the world could use more light and hope and goodness and Christ. And so just to be able to be a small part of that and almost this movement truly is an honor. And so it's been a blessing.
Yeah, he definitely works in mysterious ways when we're not looking. And then I think that's the other thing too, when you're saying woven into everything is, like growing up, everybody's like, oh, did you go to church on Sunday? Yep, checked that box. Well, God is in every little moment, even if we aren't aware that he's there. And
Yep.
my favorite GodWinks are the ones that you look back and you're kind of like, I didn't see him then, and now I'm so thankful that I see him now through that. So
Hmm. Those are my favorite too, because in the moment, there are things that were like, what, God? Like, are you sure? Like, this doesn't feel right. Like, I was so certain that this was my path, or so certain that this was supposed to happen for me. And then, yeah, those God winks. I think that's so cute. Later down the road where you're like, oh, it all makes sense. And it's so funny because I feel like that happens every single time. If you are tuning your life in line with the Lord, you will see those little miracles in those ways where He was guiding your path every step of the way, even though in the moment, maybe you couldn't necessarily recognize it or see it or
mhm.
feel it. He was there. He was there, and you might recognize and notice it later. Those little
Mhm.
God wink moments where you're like, thank you. Like, why didn't I just like trust and give myself over to you completely? But again, we live in a world and a society where there are so many distractions. I mean, social media, for one. I wish I miss the days of my childhood where there were no social media. We had home phones only. And that's how you
Mhm.
called people. Kids were outside. We were playing net games. It was awesome. It was so wonderful. I just want to go back to that. But in a world we live in with all these distractions, it's hard sometimes to, you know, keep ourselves focused on what truly matters every day. So I'm just grateful for a loving God who will kind of smack me upside the head sometimes, but hey, remember, I'm still here. I'm watching you, I'm guiding you. Just turn to me. So
I'm
it's
thankful
anyway.
for the mercies every day or every second, because I am that person that you're like, oh, sorry, God. Yep, that stumbled yet again. And
Yeah.
and the other thing that I think that so many of us forget in today's world too is he knows everything. And I'm guilty of forgetting that all the time, where it's just like he's expecting you to get mad at him. Like there are things where I'm still
Mhm.
like, okay, God, this was 20 years ago. Where is this answer? And
Mhm.
sometimes it's, if it's not the way you thought it was, it's, like I'm always told by somebody, a dear friend, that she's just like, you're the only one who puts limitations on yourself. God hasn't done that. It's just you in your human form. I'm like,
Mm.
you're right.
You're right. I know, but our human form gets in the way sometimes.
So true.
Yes.
Well, if you could stitch a verse into any item of clothing, what would you choose, and who would you hope would find it when it was needed?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm trying to recall the verse. In all the ways acknowledge him, and he shall directly pass. Uh, lean not into, is it Psalm chapter 5, verses 6 or 7? Where
Run it.
it's
Oh,
trust in, yeah, trust in the
sounds,
Lord with
that
all thine
sounds right.
heart. Does that sound right? I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's it. But it's trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
Mm.
And honestly, I think stitching that into my own clothing, you know, for
Thank
times
you.
where, yeah, for times where I'm like, I'm forgetful, or I get so consumed up in the stress and the worry and the busyness of life, and wondering, is this going to work out? Like, is this meant to be? Where I just need to like take a pause, take a step back, and see a scripture like that, and just like trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding, because again, our mortal minds will just try to like problem solve, and oh no, I can figure this out. I got this. But
Mhm.
how much easier is it, and would it be, if we, set our own mortal minds aside for a second and just been like, I'm going to put all of my faith and trust in God, and not just rely on like, oh, I think I can manage. I think I can do this. So honestly, stitching it into my own clothing as like a blessing to carry with me, and as a quiet reminder, But I love that Bible verse. I think it's beautiful and a good reminder for all of us, frankly.
Yes, absolutely. It's when I hear that verse and when I read it myself, it seems so simple, but for me personally, it's like one of the hardest things to do. And
Yeah, it is. Oh, and I'm also wait, I'm recalling. Is it Proverbs, not Psalms? It's Proverbs. I don't know. Fact check me later. But I had it
Actually,
memorized. I had it memorized. I'm like, which one was it?
and this is the verse that was put in the stitch of clothing in the movie, or because I thought that was a different verse.
No, that's not the one that was put in the
Oh,
clothing.
okay.
The one in the movie.
That's,
Now I'm trying to recall that one.
that's where I
I
said to
think
Brennan, I'm like,
I
Brennan.
think there were a few of them.
She is
I
clothed.
think
Oh,
I think the
okay,
very
you go
first
ahead.
one. I think the very first one we see in the movie is from Colossians. I think.
Yes, it is. It is. The very first is Colossians. And I think the last one that she wears in the dress, and we talked about this before we started rolling, is I haven't even seen the movie yet. I'm just trying to recall what I did from January when we filmed it in Buffalo. But the final verse is, she is clothed with strength and dignity. I can't tell you which exact verse that is, but I remember the verse.
You know what? That's what matters the most. You can
Yes.
always make
Yeah,
up the rest. You're like,
exactly.
you're like,
There's a
this is
lot
the
of
word from
chapters, a lot
God.
of verses. Yes.
There sure are. That's the hardest part for me too, is memorizing where it comes from and what number. And yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh, well, Shay, you, like we were speaking a little bit earlier, you got to co-star alongside Casey Elliott again. You've done a few films together. So, will you just share your favorite thing about working with him on and off screen, and maybe share a little bit about your friendship?
Yes, so Casey and I, we go way back. We've we've been friends. Our families have been friends for 12 years now.
Mhm.
I first met Casey. My husband, and I were all in a production of Les Mis at a theater locally here in Utah. And that's where we initially met. And that's actually where my husband and Casey are in we call it a man band, not a boy band, a man band.
Oh,
They
much
are
better.
in, yeah, right, a man band or a tenor trio group together called Gentry, short for the Gentleman Trio. And you've got three incredible tenor voices paired with these cinematic orchestrations. I mean, if you haven't listened to them, you need to. It is incredible. Yes, I'm a little biased because I am a wife and friend of all of them, but I'm also very particular and picky because I'm a musician myself, and they are so gifted, so talented. And so that's kind of where the idea for that group first was sparked, and then they've been singing together for the last 11 years, 12 years. And so, I'm good friends with Casey's wife, Sorelda. Their four kids. His daughter, Eve, was in Destined at Christmas with us. We shot Destined 1, Destined 2. Casey and I have been in now 4 films together. The first one we did, he just had like a very small role. He was like the perfect husband in it, and he didn't even speak. He didn't have to in the movie. um, and so yeah, so we just go way back, and I've loved working with Casey because one, we already have that established friendship. I just feel so comfortable and at ease with him. On and off screen because we have such a good friendship when we are shooting, it just feels like two buddies, having a fun conversation. Like there's one scene in the movie where we're eating pizza and we're laughing about things. And, right before they said action and we started rolling, Casey and I'd be laughing about other stuff, and then that would kind of like
Mhm.
transition into the scene and just felt so natural. And he's just such a giving person on and off screen. And he's always down for all of my shenanigans as well. I really wanted to like try to make some fun TikToks or Instagram reels. I was like, hey, will you make this with me? And he's like, yeah, he's just a party. He's honestly like a little kid in a grown man's body. And just like has a heart of gold. And so working with Casey has just always been so much fun. And I hope to continue to make films with him because it really is such a blast.
Absolutely. And I think that shows on screen too. And you can tell when two co-stars are genuine
Mhm.
friends and like each other and kind of have that history. It comes across as genuine. So that's wonderful.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
So do you guys ever ad lib a little bit more because you're so natural with each other? Do you find more of that come into your stories too?
It happens from time to time. Like I've never been one to like shy away from the occasional ad lib or additional line if it feels right in the moment. So if there's
Hmm.
something, naturally where we're talking and we're joking around or something and it comes out like, yeah, that's happened, you know, time and time again. But for the most part, I think we try to stick to the script because it's so beautifully written as is. But yeah, if it's a scene where it's kind of more playful and fun, like we're totally going to add the Shae and Casey flair to it.
Oh, that's so fun. And Shay, is it always a coincidence that you two work together? Or do you know ahead of time? Are you kind of pitched together? Hey, we'd love for you two to be in this role.
Yeah. So the first film we did where he just, was that the ideal husband or whatever, he didn't have any lines except I think one at the end. So we didn't really interact a lot. He just was there in a couple of shots. And I remember we were shooting like the one scene where I think he had one line. And my character was like pregnant and I was like a pregnancy scare, like, oh, I was gonna have a baby. And he rushes in, to save the day. And we're like in between takes, and the director of that film was like, hey, so how would you guys feel about like playing opposite of each other in more of like a romantic role? And we both just kind of looked at each other. And we're like, can we get back to you on that? Because we never done that before. We're close friends. But she'd wrote a script with the two of us in mind.
Mm.
And this was destined at Christmas.
Mm.
And so, she offered the roles to us. And Casey, like the true gentleman he is, he didn't have to do this, but I have so much respect for the fact that he did. But he called up my husband because obviously we're great family friends. And he's like, hey, we both got offered this role. Like, out of respect for you, I want to see how you feel. If you're like, nah, absolutely not, like, I'll bow out. And obviously my husband was like, of course, it's going to be more weird for you guys than it is for me. And we ended up shooting Destin at Christmas, and it was just such a great experience. And clearly our chemistry, like read so well on camera. We shot that sequel. I know fans want a third, so do we're pushing for it. And so yeah, like, and so for this one, I think fans just really like us together, that they just kind of paired us together for this one as well, which was so much fun.
Oh, that is so fun. And I'm sure less nerve-wracking too, rather than starting with like a fresh, brand new person you don't know. You're like, oh,
Absolutely.
will be cake. Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of sequels, you are well, and we'll go back to this, but you've gotten a second movie for a few movies now. And
Yeah.
so what was your reaction when you found specifically like for Destined for Christmas that people, wanted more, and that also that the network had such faith to bring you guys back for another round of that. So just kind of what was your
Yeah.
initial reaction to the news?
Well, I remember when the network acquired the first one. It was the
Mm,
second year that the network was around. And
okay.
Destined at Christmas was the very first film to air that Christmas season. And it did incredibly well. And so they're like, you know what, naturally we want to make a sequel. And for me, like I kind of pivoted from doing stage because my initial dream was to go to New York, be on Broadway, similar to Katie. She wanted to go to New York. My character Katie had Blessings in Disguise. Um, and then, I've shared this story many times. I won't get into it in detail, but I was working at a professional theater at the time while I was trying to make a decision. I got married young. Felt like if I moved to New York, my husband would be giving up his dreams, and if I stayed home, I'd be giving up mine. And I remember just having a conversation with God one day in the car on my way to work. I was playing Sophie and Mamma Mia at a theater, and God just basically spoke to me. It was the most I'd ever felt his presence and the strongest witness and confirmation that New York wasn't right for me, that it was okay to move on for now. Like it just was overwhelming peace. And I'm a believer. I pray a lot, but I've never experienced anything like that moment before or since in my life. And I think God really knew how much that dream was a part of me, how much it defined me. This was my dream since I was a little girl, like 4 years old. And it
Mm.
was such a wrestle in my heart. And so when that moment happened, I just felt so much peace. And that's where I transitioned, started doing film. And so I've been doing more film for the last like 8, 9 years. So I guess you could say I'm kind of still a baby in the industry. And so when Destined at Christmas was picked up and there was a sequel and then, they kept inviting me and asking me back. Like, I just was humbled. One, that the fans, that these films resonated so much with the fans and that the network trusted me with these stories, with these beautiful messages and themes. It's truly been an honor and one that I continue to just be so grateful for. The fact that, like, I've been able to find this other path than the one I initially had for myself, and one that so closely aligns with my own personal beliefs and values that I can create content that my kids, my family can be proud of. I don't need to be worried about what they're watching, and that I'm helping spread the light of Christ by doing these films. And so it couldn't have been a better path. And that's going back to what we were talking about previously. God knows he
Yeah.
he has a path for us, and sometimes it's not exactly what we had mapped out ourselves, and we just got to put our trust and faith in him, and it will always work out, and it usually does. It always seems to work out.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been an honor working with the network and doing these films.
Oh, and we as fans and viewers of this channel, Catherine and I and many others, we're so grateful and thankful and appreciative because it's one thing, to watch a movie and be entertained and say, oh, that was great, but it's another thing to still have that, but also be inspired and be
Yeah.
encouraged and really feel something happening in your soul, whether it's how you feel about your own faith or maybe a conviction or maybe a reminder of, oh, I need to kind of, you know, direct my path, or I need to kind of change that, or I want to be like that character, like they are a character of faith. So just a huge just quick shout out to you and the other actors and this network. And I mean, you all work so hard, and honestly, I mean, what a dream come true. You get to do what you love and spread the truth of Jesus. So
Mhm.
thank you again so much for what you're
No,
doing.
thank you for your kind words. And like, obviously, the network couldn't do it without the support of fans and viewers, And so I just want to continue to encourage viewers to like spread the word, guide them to a great American family. write in, share some of your feedback. Let us know, what you'd like to see more of, what we could be doing better. We just appreciate the support and then the feedback so much. And so we're just grateful for everybody that has just been there, especially with Great American Family from the very beginning.
Mm. So awesome.
As we mentioned, with your second movie that you're getting a sequel to is A Christmas Prayer, which was honestly one of our favorites last year. We absolutely
Oh,
loved
thank
it.
you.
So we've had the pleasure to talk with Ansley and so inspired, and she's so lovely. And her latest movie that we just had on Hallmark with her with Jen Lilly again was so much fun. I just love to see
Oh,
both the faith and the comedy that she's able to bring out. And I think that's what really struck me with the Christmas prayer was Jesus there for, he's always forefront, but there was a different way in this movie that I
Yes.
felt him. And
Yes.
I think you probably heard that a lot.
oh
So
yeah.
yeah, can you just give us a little experience or a little taste of your night with all of your co-stars and friends of the network
Yes.
to experience that award?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I have to say, working with Chris was amazing, and I cannot wait to shoot this sequel with him. He is incredible person, incredible actor. I just had the best time working with him. So I'm so glad you guys got to chat with him about the movie too. And then Ansley, man alive, I met her in person because we've communicated online through social media or whatever. One, she is an incredibly talented writer. Uh, like the content and the films that she has created, man, what a gift. But meeting her in person at the Movie Guide Awards, I felt like this is my sister. She's a kindred spirit. Like I from that single interaction, I'm like, do you live closer to me? Because I wish you did, because we would be best friends. But yeah, so being there at the Movie Guide Awards was just so exciting. It was my first award show. I did not have an outfit. I did not know what to wear. I was shooting in New York and Buffalo, Blessings in Disguise. I was like, I don't have time. I don't have a stylist. Like, I'm a busy mom. I'm shooting a movie. What am I going to do? So I was like, I'm going to go to the mall one weekend. I was like, I'm going to go to Macy's and just see what's
Girl,
there.
yes.
Yeah. And most everything, I was like, I just felt a little too matronly for me. But there was one like jumpsuit. I don't know if you've seen pictures of my outfit that stood out. It was like, oh, it's modest and it's cute. It feels classy and timeless. I was like, that's it. I was like, thank you, Heavenly Father, for helping me find an outfit because it was giving me a lot of stress. And so being able to dress up, seeing everybody just dress the nines, looking so fabulous, doing the red carpet, and then the whole awards show. I'm so grateful to the Movie Guide Awards and for what they have created over the last, I think it's 30, going on almost 34, 35
Yeah,
years.
this was the 33rd annual of
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
33rd. Oh yeah, you're right. The 33rd annual Movie Guide Awards. And how they're highlighting entertainment in this genre. Entertainment that brings light and faith and goodness. And so it was really cool and really special to be part of that, to be nominated, one, for my individual performance in A Christmas Prayer for the Grace Award, and to be nominated alongside women that I have looked up to for years in this industry. I was pinching myself constantly. And then for A Christmas Prayer to be up for the Epiphany Prize, the big award of the night for television, and then to win that prize. I leaned over to Bill. I was sitting next to Bill Abbott, um, CEO of the Great American Family Network, and he's like, it has to win. It has to win, because we saw how much fans loved it, how much it resonated, like the story, the message, and I was like, we'll see, and so as soon as they announced A Christmas Prayer, Bill and I looked at each other like, oh, what? I looked back at my husband, and then Ansley was there. Oh, she looked so beautiful in her outfit. She had a cute little pregnant belly. And she came up, we accepted the award on behalf of the entire crew and cast, everybody that put so much blood, sweat, and tears into the film. And it was just the greatest honor, and just such a fairy tale to be, dressed up and go to an award ceremony, and then to have your film be nominated and to win, like a dream come true. I just could not be more grateful and thrilled about that opportunity.
Oh my
As
goodness.
soon as I saw the little teaser that Ansley did, I immediately reposted it, said, and congratulations for not going into labor. Good job, girl.
I know.
It was
Oh.
so adorable pregnant on the red carpet like that and up there.
Yes.
But yeah, the excitement definitely could have put her into labor.
Oh, absolutely.
So do you have are is this something that you're going to film then later on this year, or do you have any hints of what the story's going to be that you can share or anything along those lines?
Yes, so we'll be filming that. I'm still waiting on official dates, but I think it's going to be around July, August, back in Winnipeg, Canada. And Ansley, I spoke with her at the Movie Guide Awards, and I said, "Hey, like, have you written the script?" And she's like, "It's almost done. I'm sending it over to the network next week." I was like, "What can you tell me? Like, does this happen at the end?" She's like, "I'm not going to say, but I will say this." She said she thinks it could be better than the first.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
know. That's a big statement, but she's like, it is a very good sequel.
Oh,
And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm excited to read it. Bill also read it. He as well agrees it's a very, very good sequel. So I haven't read it, but I look forward
like,
to reading it, which should be soon.
send
No, no,
it
send
to me.
it to
I
me.
need to emotionally and mentally prepare for this epic
I know.
sequel.
Also, I just want to know what happens at the end. I'm like, I mean, we probably all can kind of guess. I don't know, but you don't know because A Christmas Prayer, the format was a little bit different than what we've seen for
Mm-hmm.
Christmas films, and so Ansley's just so clever and smart with her writing that I don't know. I'm excited to see, but I think it's going to be a strong sequel.
We are so
She could already be writing the script for A Christmas Prayer number 5 and maybe did it while she was in labor, like her last
right,
movie.
right. Like, don't worry, I got you. I'm up to 10.
You heard that story from her? That Ansley wrote
No.
a movie. Okay, so she was writing a movie that she was attached to for Jen Lilly that was going to Hulu. And she had to make her changes as she went into labor. The doctor was like, you're going to, we're going to induce you're going to go in tonight. So, and I just reposted this not that long ago because she literally, like, her funny thing was like the nurse would be like, so how we doing? Have you found out where the mid kiss is going to go? I might have dropped it, blah, blah, blah. So they were waiting for the script to be just to the point that she felt good bringing in a human and then turning a computer off to push out her baby and then turn that back on to do her script, push her script through.
No way.
It
Like
is the best
super mom
story.
right there. That is hilarious and amazing.
Yes.
And then Jen Lilly followed that up with saying she did the same thing because when she did the operation or not operation, oh my gosh, what was that thing that she did with the
Christmas
Christmases?
is not canceled?
Christmas is not canceled. She said that after one of her babies, she had the baby and was ordering the toys immediately after. And I'm just like, I walked down the hallway and I'm exhausted. And you two are like, let's do our next project.
Baby's here, back to
Yeah.
work.
Wow, amazing moms right there. And I love to see that, like and just talking about moms for a second, whether you're a stay-at-home mom and you are there full time for your kids or you are balancing being a mom and having a career, I
Mm-hmm.
just think moms are superheroes
Oh my
in
goodness.
all shapes and forms. And like the fact that, Ansley can just finish a script, then push out a baby, then be back to work. It's amazing. But like the gift and powers that God has bestowed upon women and
Mm-hmm.
mothers is amazing. Amazing. We're
Yeah,
amazing.
1000%.
No, truly, truly, truly. I completely agree. And it's the most important job. Absolutely. Raising
It
babies,
really is.
humans. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness.
Hmm.
Yes. Well done. Um, so Shay, when you're preparing for a new role, is there a certain process that you kind of go through personally? Or is there a certain journey you take to get into the shoes of your character?
Yeah, that's a great question. With these scripts, I like to read them over and over just so I am as familiar as possible. I personally don't like to memorize the entire script beforehand. That's too much information in my brain. And as a mom of two littles, I already have a hard enough time as is remembering to bring a binky on in the 4 hour car ride, on a road trip. And so what works best for me in my process is I familiarize myself very much with the script. I find ways that I can pull from, real life experiences. And with Katie and Blessings in Disguise, obviously there's a lot of themes and things that I closely resonated with and related to. And so, after I familiarize myself, then we get to set. I memorize for the upcoming scenes the next day, the night before. And that process has seemed to really help me because then also I'm keeping things fresh. They're not over rehearsed in my mind with like a rhythm. And so then I can just show up and like hear how my scene partner is delivering their lines and then just respond and listen. So yeah, just pulling from personal experience and then being as familiar as possible and then just being present when you're on set and being collaborative too. I think that's important with your co-stars and with the director is them being, everyone being open to, thoughts and ideas and anything that we think can like only make the movie better. So I'd kind of see what my process is.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so
Well,
good.
and I love that when you say that if you don't, like even if you don't have everything like locked in, it allows you, as you said, to be in the moment. But then if
Yeah.
you're not kind of like, if it wasn't what you expected it to be, there's not that sense of like disappointment in a way too, where it's just like, yeah. So
Exactly. Like
there's
that's not how I
so,
rehearsed.
right. There is just something, and I think that's what we all need to remember is about stepping in. Nothing's going to be perfect, and that's the biggest trick that I have to try to remind myself. None of us are perfect beings. That's not our job.
No.
But I think that everybody in the space world too is so hard on themselves. And I know I'm guilty party number one, and so I just love that idea of just being able to let it by being in the moment, let it be free. And so, and in God's
Mm-hmm.
hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched on that, Catherine, because that is one of the themes in the film is like she uh oh now I'm thinking of my character in Christmas Park, Katie,
Mhm.
right, Brennan? Why am I questioning
Yeah,
myself all of a sudden?
you got it, girl.
I
Katie
got
was
Absolutely.
the last one.
busy day of work and then swim lessons right before this. My mom brain is like overload right now.
No
But
problem.
yes,
We got you.
Katie, she, like self-worth is what I'd say one of the themes in it. There's a scene, an interaction she has, and like, where she's talking to her mom and she just is not feeling like she's enough for herself, for God, and then for her mom. And as women, it's just so hard because I feel like there is like a separate standard for women than there is for men on like how to look, how to appear, how to behave, what to do, career, and so we just feel this pressure and these voices constantly from society, from culture, and it's a lot. It's a lot on us women, on us moms. And so naturally a lot of us struggle with that perfectionism. We struggle with finding our identity and our self-worth. And sometimes, it feels like, I love being a mom, but like I was also more than that before I became a mom, and you feel like you get lost in your being a mom and having kids, even though that is the most important and the greatest job in the world. And so you're navigating those feelings. And then if you are a working mom, you feel guilty for working, but it's like our husbands, they work, they're out providing and they're gone all day, so it's just this fine line, this balance that we have to juggle, I think, as women and men too. I'm not saying men don't also
Mhm.
have, their struggles and things that they face, but there just seems to, in some ways, be a different standard for women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with Katie and, kind of that theme and even just that scene where she's talking to her mom, like not feeling like enough, I felt like that just, I'm sure you have, like all of us have, and just feeling like we are enough, that we're doing enough.
Mhm.
And it's hard. And it's something that I don't think will ever go away. I think it's something we'll all continue to struggle with in some degree, but it's in those moments where we need to remind ourselves and remember that verse we talked about, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not into thine own understanding. And he's got us. He has got us. We just need to simply turn to him for that peace, for that comfort, for that guidance. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is what he thinks of us and how he feels about us and not what the world thinks. Who cares about the world? Who cares about society and other people? If we could just let that go and not be so consumed about what other people think, that's also something that us women struggle with. We care too much because we put all this pressure on ourselves. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think. The only person that we should be concerned about it mattering to is God. And in his eyes, he loves us unconditionally, just like we love our own children unconditionally. And it's so silly that we can forget that sometimes. So I'm grateful for the quiet reminders like this film that was a blessing for me and a reminder for me, some of the things that I struggle with. I'll probably continue to struggle with, but having those reminders and little moments from God are just blessings that I cherish. So yeah.
Yeah.
Shae, you were made for this. This is what God had you do so that you could
Yes.
share your stories
Oh,
that way too. Because I'm gonna start crying too. Brennan and I talk all the time about this, but even before we came on, I was like literally because you're not as prepared as you think you should be. And so when I'm saying I need to be in the moment, I'm not allowing myself even in this moment to be in the moment. And it's those things that just, it's hearing from her where she's like, "You've got this, girl, you're fine." And then just now
yeah.
you brought tears to my eyes because the other thing we were talking about too is that social media, we all wish back in the day that we were back to where it was that you saw a bike out,
Right?
that's how you knew your friend was busy or where your friend was and where to go play.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
this social media is a blessing to be able to connect with people that we wouldn't have the opportunity to. That's how we were able to
Yeah.
connect with you. But it's also the it's such a demoralizer too.
Yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking of how quickly we forget in this time that we need to be focusing up.
Yeah. Amen. I completely agree. I
Mhm.
just wish I could get rid of it, but you're right. It is also a blessing in so many ways because then we're able to connect with people and to help further,
Mm-hmm.
share and spread the message of Christ. Like that's also a tool. And I think social media is part of the plan. It's part of
Mm-hmm.
helping spread that light across the world and reach more people. But at the same time, it's obviously going to be met with, the adversary is going to work really hard to try to like counter attack that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And
Mhm.
so it's just a fine line you have to walk with social media, not let it become the distraction that it can be. I love it. My mom always says to me, she's like, if it doesn't spark joy, if it doesn't feel good and joyful and bring you peace, get rid of it. Get rid of it. If it doesn't spark joy, delete it. If it doesn't spark joy, mute it. If it doesn't spark joy, stop following it. And
No.
I just love that. My mom is just such she's like my best friend and she's been such a great influence in my life. And the little saying she said to me throughout my whole life, have a great day, make it a great day for somebody else. And it's just like having those, oh, I know, isn't that, she'd say that to me every single day going to school. Have a great day and make it a great day for somebody else. Because
Mhm.
truly, like, God has commanded us to love our neighbor and to love others and to serve others, and that's what it's about. And I think when you do that, and when that's kind of your focus and ways that you can give and serve, in turn you are so much happier.
Yes.
And so in the advice, the words of my mom, do things that spark joy and have a great day, have a great year, have a great life, and make it that for somebody else.
Oh wow. I want to write those two things down. Words to live by for sure. Oh, thank you, sweet
Yeah,
mama. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And Brennan
she's the
works in the
best.
school system. So I was just thinking when you see students, that would be a wonderful gift to give students too. I
Oh, to
absolutely.
say yes.
Yeah. I haven't heard it like that. I love that.
Love that so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mama
Oh,
Angie.
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, Brennan, do you want to wrap us up with some rom-com questions?
I would love to. Absolutely. Um, yes, because we love our rom-coms, Shay, of course. Um, are there any actors or actresses that you would love to collaborate with in the future, or do you kind of have like a dream co-star that you've thought of?
Oh, honestly, anybody on the network would be a dream. Ansley is somebody that I would love to, star across on screen, like
Mhm.
as sisters, as friends, as mothers. I think collaborating with her would be a dream.
Yeah.
Um, and as far as like, a male co-star, honestly, they're also wonderful. Like I met Jonathan Stoddard at the Movie Guide Awards. That was the first time I met him. It'd be fun to work with him. It's just always fun to work and get to know new people. So, just somebody that I haven't worked with yet. But Ansley, especially, I would love to, because she's an actress as well, on top of it, a writer, on top
Mhm.
of an amazing mom. I mean, what can't she do? So I'd love
Right.
to act with her.
You better tell her to get writing on that script because
Yes,
we're here for it too.
we support that 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
We don't have any say, but we support it.
We do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell her. I'll text her tonight. By the
Perfect.
way, you're good
Perfect.
friends.
We're your hype girls. Absolutely.
We are. We're good
Yes.
at that, yeah. So when what would you say makes great on-screen chemistry then from your perspective? And I think I like how you said that or some no, I just heard this today from somebody else. Chemistry, of course, we think of the love chemistry, but here you've got this wonderful chemistry with Ansley that you can't wait to explore, that you've created off screen that you can't wait to bring on screen. So what do you think makes that magic for everybody?
I think it's exactly what you just said, and something that I've experienced is your off-screen chemistry. Like good actors, you see in movies and you hear, stories of like, man, they did not enjoy working together, but they can still create great chemistry on camera. But I feel like there's something magical and next level when your chemistry off camera and your friendship is strong, and there's that like almost selflessness involved in support, collaboration. Like I think that's what makes the on-screen chemistry even more like palpable, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Mm,
100%.
absolutely. Love that. Well, do you have a favorite rom-com yourself?
I do. I'm like,
Hey,
okay, but now I'm like forgetting the name of it. No, I remember the name. There we go. See, again, mom brain, it like turns off and turns on.
hey, no
But
worries.
I love, I don't know if you've ever seen Austin Land with Carrie Russell.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh, it's been forever, but I know
I've
which one you're
Do you know
talking
what
about.
I'm talking about? She's obsessed with Jane Austen. She goes
yeah.
to like this immersive Jane Austen world experience. It is hilarious. And it's with the actress. I forget her name, but she talks like, I like a hot dog on the 4th of July from Legally Blonde.
Oh,
What's her
oh,
name?
is it
Oh,
Jennifer
Jennifer Coolidge.
Coolidge?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was a
she's
great
in it
impression,
too.
by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I can do it better than that. But yes, it is so funny. Like if you haven't seen it, you have to see it. It is hilarious. That's one of my favorite rom-coms, I'd say. And then
Amazing.
She's the Man. She's the Man is with Amanda
Mm.
Bynes years ago, and Channing Tatum. That one
Yes.
is hilarious.
I love She's the Man, Shay. Great choice. It's so good.
Yes.
I miss the 90s and the early 2000s for the rom-coms that we
I do
had.
I do too.
So,
They
yeah.
were.
They were
Yes.
best. They were.
Um, so is there a rom-com actress that you just when you like growing up when you saw it, you're like, if I'm gonna, because I know you said you did theater, but if you were going to maybe take after somebody who inspired you, I guess would be the correct question to ask.
That's a good question. Like I grew up watching so many movies with Meg Ryan.
Mm,
Yes.
She was kind of like
the
the
It Girl.
rom-com queen, the it girl. And so as a kid, it's like I just saw her in everything, and so I always just loved her performances and her films. I wouldn't necessarily say as a kid I'm like that's who I want to be and want to
Mm.
model my career after, but I did grow up loving all of her films, and it's just so beautiful, and so I'd say she was one that like I noticed as a kid and growing up.
Oh, great choice. Yes, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Shay, do you have a favorite meet cute between characters that you like to watch and or that you like to play?
And it can be one that you've done, or it can be like one that you just like to see, like even like bumping into each other, if that's kind of like your favorite thing to play, kind of along those
Yes.
lines.
We were talking about ad-libbing earlier,
Mhm.
and in the meet cute in A Christmas Prayer, I was kind of hoping they would have kept something that I ad-libbed.
Mhm.
Um, we were in the coffee shop and I'm walking past and my bag bumps like the hot chocolate or coffee all over. And the table gets on that list of blessings or prayers.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, that's a big bag." I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm, that I had improv that day, because I initially the lines were like, I pulled something out. I was like, "Oh, yeah, like if you need this, I've got this. And oh, I got this. Oh, and I had a full jar of peanut butter. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. And if you ever need a little extra protein, I've got this." And then I added, like, that was the line, if you ever need a little extra protein. But then I added, um, clearly you don't need any of this, and like, haha, oh, why did I say that? Because, Chris, like behind the scenes, I don't know if you know this, but he is like, he works out so much. He would come to set with bags of meat, like, and just eat hamburger patties out of it, like just protein, 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 and he's very built. He works really hard for his physique, and so I just thought that was like a funny little ad moment. And but they kind of like made that meet cute shorter than it was. It was still a cute meet cute, but I'm like, oh, I always love adding a little bit of like comedy, awkwardness, quirkiness, because in reality, like that's kind of how we are. We're all a little bit like quirky and awkward, in situations where it's like, oh, I'm kind of taken out off guard. Like, oh, here's a cute guy. Oh, wow, hi, you know. And so I think it would have been fun to have a little bit more of like the comedy there, but it was still cute as is. But that was a fun one to shoot, that meet cute moment.
That is so fun. Oh, girl, same. We have gotten to go to the Hallmark Christmas experience in Kansas City these last couple years. And
Wow.
it's and there are just actors there that are just beautiful inside and out. And for me personally, you go up and you have the script of this is what I'm gonna say, and it's gonna be like good and great, and then you get up there,
Yeah.
you just are a total mess, and then you walk away and you're like, what was that? What did I just do?
Do you want to tell her what your meet cute? You can say your meet cute on your side, Brennan. What was it for
My
Chris
Tell me,
McNally?
tell me.
my
For
meet
Chris
cute.
McNally.
Oh, yes. So some of the actors, they'll do the tree lighting at night, and
Yeah.
before they'll kind of come down and mill around, and you might get a chance to get a selfie or a picture with them. And Chris McNally and some of the other one calls the Heart Cast, they were walking up, and I hadn't gotten a selfie with him yet. I got a group picture with everybody, and so I call out his name quick, and he was kind of in a hurry, and he looked over and said, "Hi, sorry, I gotta go up." And what did I say, Catherine?
Well, there
One
was a
one of
where you told
one
him you loved him.
I
There
did.
was that.
One of our other friends, was kind of calling, "Oh, Chris, real quick, I'll take a picture of you two." So he said, "Okay." He came over, and she took a picture of us, and he's going to leave, and I said, "Hi, Chris, I'm Brennan. I didn't get a chance to meet you earlier, but I love you." And then I turned to Catherine and the girls and our friends, and I just told Chris McNally I love him. And the irony is, years ago, his character Lucas was in a triangle with the lead character Elizabeth, and like Catherine and I, many are friends. We were Team Nathan, we were Team Mountie, which is who Kevin McGarry plays, and Chris McNally was Lucas. And so it just, and so there were years where we'd watch the season, we'd be like, "Oh no, we don't like Lucas," So it was so
For a
funny.
full
I'm like,
circle moment.
of all people, he's the
Yeah,
one I said it to.
Well,
that
at
is
least
too funny.
somebody did also go up and say, "Gosh, you smell good." I can't remember if that was so.
Oh, yes, one of our friends did do that. Yes.
Guarantee you, they love every interaction. I'm sure he thought it was so sweet for you to even say that. To be told he smells good. So that's hilarious, though.
I got to work on my meet cutes because my meet cutes with Kevin McGarry has been like, I think we've taken enough photos, haven't we? I don't want to be in your way. We're Minnesota nice where we're like, that's okay. It's somebody else's turn now. And I was just like, like, but instead
See,
be
you're
like,
being a considerate queen. Look at you.
but literally he got off the stage next to me into the group, and I was we hadn't had a selfie, but I'd seen him on our the Hallmark Christmas cruise, so I had gotten
Yeah.
some selfies with them there. But literally, there was one where he came up. He's like, "You want a picture?" I go, "Oh, we've already had two. That's okay. Go take some with some other people." My friend's like,
Oh,
"Never turn down a picture, Catherine." I'm like,
yeah, never, especially when they're asking.
"But there are so many people who haven't had the opportunity. I'm just trying to share the
Yeah.
love."
Catherine, so
Again, a considerate queen.
yeah, she really is. She really, truly is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let's end on what is something that fans would be surprised to learn about you. So you said you're musical. Do you play an instrument or?
Yes. So I grew up dancing, doing theater. So I got my start in theater first. My degree is in music dance theater. So I am a stage actress. That's my first passion. And most recently, I played Belle in Beauty and the Beast in a production here in Utah. And I actually, speaking of, jumping back into work postpartum, I gave birth to my second baby and jumped into rehearsals 3 months postpartum. And it was a 5 month contract. We rehearsed for a few months and then we performed for 2 3. And it was incredible. But being able to share that experience with my oldest daughter, who was 3 at the time, and come see me, and at the top of the show, Belle is kind of revealed out of this giant rose. Who could love a beast? And then you hear the bring, da 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 da, and in that silence before the music starts, you hear my daughter say, "Hi, mommy," twice. And my mom heart just like erupted. It took everything in me not to cry because I'm like, I have to sing, I have to sound like a princess. And then I have the video. It's on my Instagram if anyone wants to go back and try to find it. I'm so grateful my mom recorded this moment, but it's the moment that I come out in the yellow dress. And this set alone was, to give you context, $1 million set. Just the set. My dress, the customers told me, because like, can I buy it? They're like, well, it's 10 grand. And I was like, this is a $10,000 dress. Like they had some budget to go into
Oh,
this whole production. It was incredible. But I come down this massive grand staircase. My mom is filming my daughter, and the light shines on me, and you hear a little ding in the music, and then it starts, tale as all this time. And my daughter's face goes, and just kind of settles back and lights up. Like, I can't help but cry every time I watch the video. So go check out my Instagram, follow me, and go watch that video. It is so sweet. But yes, I'm a singer. I love the stage. I played many princess roles in my life. I'll probably be auditioning for some things coming up here. So yeah, that's something else about me is I love to sing and to be characters on stage. It's really
oh.
so fun.
Well, we love and appreciate the theater. We love our musicals and our plays. So wonderful. Please keep us updated. That's amazing.
Will
Yeah,
do.
we haven't gone in a long time. We need to get back to it. Minnesota has a fantastic theater program.
Wow.
We were, I think, at one point we were considered the third. New York, California, and then because we have what we call theater row, and yeah, it just hasn't
Yeah.
really gone down. So what is your ultimate favorite musical then, Shae?
I will tell you, I grew up watching Funny Girl with my mom, with Barbara
Mhm.
Streisand. My daughter's name is Sadie. Sadie, Sadie, married lady. That's one of the songs in Funny Girl. That's kind of what made me want to do musical theater. Don't Rain on My Parade was like my anthem for a period of time. I sang it when I competed in a pageant in high school. Like I sang it on cruise ships. And a funny story, I sang it one night on a cruise ship because my husband dared me to do it. I was like, okay, fine. But then the next night we went back to like the karaoke spot, waiting to do like the game night that they were doing. And some people recognized me and they went up and they made the people call me up. And so I did an encore performance of Don't Rain on My Parade. And I was like, oh, I hate this. This is so comfortable. But so yeah, Funny Girl. And then I got to see it on Broadway. My husband is so sweet. He took me to New York. I got to see it twice. I got to see the girl who originated the role and then go back to see Leah Michelle from Glee, who I just think is
Oh, yeah.
incredible. She was so amazing vocally, and Ramin Karimloo. Anyway, Funny Girl is
Mhm.
my probably my all-time favorite musical. It would be such a tough role to do because she talks and sings the entire show, and it is hard stuff. But that would be a dream role of mine.
Oh, great choice. Great.
Yeah.
Here's
Well,
hope.
I was gonna say, I actually have questions on Beauty and the Beast because that is one of my favorite musicals to watch. And I'm always sitting there going, how do they do the Beast transformation? I don't want you to give it away on camera, but off camera, I want to know.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we did something so different. I mean, I can tell you, I'll tell you off camera what we did. I don't know if the audience wants to hear, but it was very, very different. We had somebody come in from LA, design the whole concept, and I was responsible for making it happen. And it was a ton of pressure. And so here I'm singing to him, don't go, I'm singing, I'm crying and stuff, but trying to like also set him up to be able to do this transformation. Oh, I'll tell you off camera, but the pressure, and I gotta tell you some other funny stories. I'll tell you off camera, but it was pretty magical. And I think I have a video of it. Maybe I'll text it to you.
I would
Say
love
follow
that.
Shae, and maybe she will post some things eventually. You never know.
Yes.
Yeah, I have on my TikTok. I have posted like be our guest. We had a giant cake rise out of the ground that we danced on. Like I've got stories. So go to my TikTok where you can see some of my Beauty and the Beast videos that I posted. The stage is incredible.
Amazing.
Well,
Can't wait to
thank you so much for spending this time with us. And we definitely, when you are on A Christmas Prayer too, we will have to have you and Ainsley both. Ansley, oh my gosh, Ansley both back together. Poor Ansley.
No, you are just fine. And that would be so fun. I would love to come chat with her, chat with you guys again, and just so appreciate you having me today. It was so great to talk with you guys.
Shae, you too. We truly we love you. Thank you for everything you do.